And welcome back to the Mike Pressler Show. We're here at Blackie's Bulldog Tavern in Smithfield, Rhode Island. I'm Mike Mancuso, and now lucky to be joined by the Bryant Athletic Director, Bill Smith. And Bill, great to have you here on the show with us today. And you took over this athletic director position April 10th, 2006, and one of the biggest things you had to do right away was hire a men's lacrosse coach. And how fitting, it's Mike Pressler's show, you hired Mike Pressler on August 5th. How's that been as an important factor for this Bryant men's lacrosse program?
It's not just for the men's lacrosse program. I think it's really for the entire athletic department and university. Mike's coaching resume speaks for itself. Being when we hired him, Division I Coach of the Year, already having that on the resume. Mike is so fantastic as a head coach for our lacrosse program, and what he's done to grow it and bring it to the Division I level is fantastic. But Mike brings so many other intangibles to the athletic department. In so many ways, he's the consummate team player. We've done some major facility renovations, both the locker rooms and the weight room since Mike has arrived here on campus. And really neither one of those projects get done without Mike's fundraising efforts. And I think in addition, as we made the transition to Division I, it was important for the coaches with Division II experience and some of our younger coaches also to have a coach that they could go to. And Mike has served as a mentor to a lot of them, has really been a leader throughout the transition to Division I.
Yeah. And you briefly touched on that transition. So one of the first things you had to deal with when you came here was starting that movement from Division II into Division I. And as of right now, where is the program as a whole in terms of that transition into Division I?
Right now we're in the fourth year of the transition and the final year of the transition. We just received excellent news yesterday that we successfully completed the NCAA self-study, so that was very exciting to know. It's a must-hit milestone that you have to deliver on in order to achieve Division I certification. So we got positive news back from the NCAA on that yesterday. Right now we have one more NCAA strategic plan to update, and that's due June 1st, and we fully expect to receive positive news back from the NCAA end of June, early July, giving us or certifying us as officially Division I for all of our sport programs.
And now, when the decision is made at first to switch over from Division II into Division I, what's the general process, if you could just break it down into simple terms?
The general process is really a conversation with the president and the athletic director. Do we believe that this is something that we can do and we can be successful at it? What type of positive exposure will it bring to the university? Will there be the proper return on our investment? Once the athletic director and the president agree that it is the right thing to do, the next step is that the president brings it to the Board of Trustees and solicits their approval to begin the application process to become Division I. We're very fortunate. We got through the door with our application right before the NCAA placed a moratorium on new applications. So we got in and paid $15,000 in order to apply to become Division I. And 6 months later, they placed a moratorium on it and decided to study the certification process. They lifted the moratorium 2 years ago, and now the application fee is $1.5 million. So it's we got through at the right time.
Yeah, I guess timing is everything, like it is with a lot of other things. What are some of the challenges that you've had associated with this transition into Division I?
The most important thing is that we have the right coaches, on staff. They're in the trenches every day, working with our student athletes and making them better. So the biggest challenge was making sure that we had the right mix of coaches to be successful. Then the second most important thing that you have to do is get the coaches resources in order to be successful and go out there and be able to win games. And so I think those were the two major challenges. I'm very fortunate. I have a wonderful president. We have a great board of trustees, and they've been very supportive of us. Once the decision was made to go Division I, they've been right there with us and making sure that we have everything we need to do it the right way.
Yeah. And now, you mentioned that it's basically a 5-year process, but some teams are able to be what's called fast track, such as men's lacrosse, where they're starting to be allowed to play in NCAA tournaments and things of that sort. How does that work?
The NCAA allows you to fast track 2 sports. It's a 4-year transition period for all of your sport programs. However, they allow you to fast track 2 sports with the exception of men's basketball, women's basketball, and football. So 4 years ago, we made the decision to fast track Mike and the men's lacrosse program as well as the field hockey program. And consequently, a year ago, they became eligible for NCAA championships while the other sport programs are still going through the transition.
And now, a lot of your teams have had a lot of success at the Division I level already. We're talking about men's and women's tennis, Football was 8-5 this past season, swimming at the ECACs recently, and of course men's lacrosse, which has played outstanding since joining the Division I ranks. Have you been happy with the success of those programs so far as they've been making the jump up?
Yeah, very much so. You know, it's we have to be patient. We knew going into this that it would not be easy, but we knew we had to take our time, do things the right way, put all the right elements in place, and then watch everything grow. And yeah, we've been very pleased with the development of all of our sport programs. You know, especially the ones that you mentioned. Football had a great season. They've 3 out of the last 4 years they've been 7-4. So throughout the entire transition, they've always got us off to a good start in the fall. And you know, the swimming program as well came out of the NECs this past week, placed 3rd, and now going into the spring, we're very excited. Spring is traditionally a very strong season for us, and if last Saturday was any indication, we're going to have a good spring with you know, men's lacrosse knocking off Vermont. Then we had men's tennis beat Hartford, women's tennis beat Hofstra, and men's baseball beat George Mason. So hopefully have a good spring and we get some good weather out there and get to go out there and see a lot of W's.
I hope so. And now this is the Mike Pressler Show. It's about men's lacrosse mainly, and I understand you also coach youth lacrosse in your spare time, which I'm sure you have tons of. But have you seen any impact on the success that Bryant's had translating to some of the youth in the area in terms of lacrosse?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that's so great about Mike is his camps and clinics, and you're not going to see any other Division I coach out there with 7, 8, 9-year-olds refereeing the games, and Mike is out there, you know, every second that his camps and clinics are going, he's out there with the kids and the campers, and that's really helped to bring a level of excitement through the Smithfield area, and I think throughout Rhode Island. I think we've seen an explosion of boys lacrosse and girls lacrosse as well. So you know, Mike has done a great job growing a sport which is, you know, so important to him, of course, and to myself. It's a passion of mine, having grown up in Central New York and played the sport myself.
Well, Bill, we thank you for joining us here on the Mike Pressler Show. Best of luck the rest of the way this spring and into next season as well. We'll be back with more of the Mike Pressler Show coming up here on Cox Sports Television.